Oh, hey, man. It's been a while. How you doing? Oh, good. Hey, is that a Power Ranger shirt? Why, yes, it is. It's the Green Ranger and his Dragon Sword. I'm a huge fan of the franchise. I just love it. Oh, so you're like a nerd. Like you're like those guys on the Big Bang Theory. You're like Sheldon. Um, no, not really. No. You must be into computers and all that nerdy stuff. Super smart, right? No, we went to high school. We were in the same classes. I bet like Sheldon, you have trouble talking to girls, right? No, you know I'm married. What? No? Right, yeah. Probably don't even know what to do with a girl if you got her alone. I have 3 children. That doesn't even make sense. Yep, just like Sheldon. Love it. Sheldon. No, how about this? Sheldon's just a fictional character from a show that's poorly written that thinks they know nerds, yet it just categorizes them in one group that doesn't actually exist, and it drives me insane. No, I can like Power Rangers, and I'm still a very sociable person. God, why? Whoa. I didn't realize that. Oh, okay. Sorry? Sorry, it just gets really annoying to get lumped in one category. Now, do you have anything else you'd like to say to me that might be relevant? Well, yeah, I do have one more thing to say. Well, kind of.
Our whole universe was in a hot, dense state that nearly 14 billion years ago expansion started. Wait, the earth began to cool, the autotrophs began to drool, Neanderthals developed tools, we built a wall. We built the pyramids, math, science, history,
Yeah, it's kind of catchy, you know? Oh, you look like you're gonna punch me in the face. Hello, Ranger fans, and welcome back to the channel. This is your favorite Toy Story lover, aka Jesse, aka the Golden Green Ranger. Why? Because I love the way Jason and Tommy both said, back to action. Oh, just gives me chills. All right. Let's waste no more time. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of the video. Soup to nuts, if you will. Listen, what do I want to talk about today? Well, it's why it's Power Rangers still a popular franchise after almost 30 years. Well, I have to share something with you. I had a first experience this weekend. A first, if you will. Not the one you're thinking of. Ew, nasty. Get your mind out of the gutter. Listen, I got to meet an actual living ranger. That's right. Rocky himself came down to my area, signed some autographs, had a lovely conversation, spent way too much money, and I had an enjoyable time. But I noticed something while I was in line. I noticed everybody else waiting with me. And I started conversations up. And it made me realize something that irritates me. It's this idea that nerds come in one category. Because I met all types of different people online. Some were really nerdy. Some were fans from back in the day that just had nostalgia. And some were still into the franchise. I had a lovely conversation with a gentleman in front of me about the significance of the franchise and why it was so important to us. And it really got me thinking, how is it that most of us that continuously watch this show after 28 years all have the same idea? That Power Rangers is deeper than it initially looks. And I think that plays into why the franchise has ran as long as it has. No other franchise that I can think of has put this much energy and time in revamping itself, making itself significant, keeping itself relevant, yet still being simple and complex for kids to understand. And what do I mean by that? I love this show at the age of 34. But I also have a 5-year-old who sits next to me and watches and loves it as well. We're both watching the same show, and we're both taking something completely different out of it. For him, it's a bunch of awesome people fighting monsters in brightly colored spandex.
It's not spandex. apprehensive about his work.
The material is a self-assembling nanofiber formed with an intercellular shape memory alloy.
Okay, sorry, Dr. K, I get it. That's Mannix. But to me, it's more than that. You see, I've been watching the franchise long enough to understand that after Mighty Morphin, the show continued. And eventually the show just continued to reboot and revamp itself. It's always had one continuous timeline, which is nice because it keeps us fans invested in it. But at the same time, it's been able to do new things that other shows were too afraid to do. What do I mean by that? In 2001, we had Time Force, which had Jen Scott become the leader of the team. The first time the Power Rangers had a female leader. And I know there's a debate online whether it was Wester or her. But to me, she was the one giving orders. She was the one that came up with the plans. Jen was the leader. That was before Disney decided to make a Black Widow movie, before DC put all this money into the Wonder Woman franchise. That was before this scene in Endgame.
Don't worry.
She's got health.
Power Rangers had a strong female leader, and they didn't need to throw it down your throat. They just happened to have a leader that was a female. Same thing with every single minority leader we've had on the team. Every single different trope that you didn't think you needed to address that Power Rangers has addressed. In 1993, you had a team of 5 that were all different, yet were all friends, and it didn't need to explain why. They just all got together. You had the nerd, you had the dancer, you had the gymnast, you had the jock, and you had the princess. I think I mentioned Kimberly twice. I mean, what would Trini be technically? Billy's translator? I don't know. Trini did have some good character arcs, but that's neither here nor there. What makes this franchise special is, although it can be so simple, it can be so deep. This is the show that can address racism in one season and the next bake people into a giant pizza. I chuckle because it's true. I think about all the times the show has impacted me. Countdown to Destruction, where we've seen people without power stand up for what they believed in and stood up to protect this team that had protected them for so many years. You saw characters like Bulk and Skull, who at one time were bullies, stand up, and not only stand up for what they believed in, fight side by side with the Rangers to help them. I think about Lost Galaxy, watching Kendrix give her life to save Cassidy. I think about Time Force, when Jen watched her fiance get killed in front of her and was so driven by revenge. I seen SPD, where a man wanted to live up to his father's legacy so bad that he was blinded by his own rage and he was blinded by his own arrogance. And he had to earn that Red Ranger title. Power Rangers is something special to everybody. And I think that's what makes the show so unique, is everybody has that aha moment where that's me. That's potentially me under that helmet. And that's why I'll always continue to love it and always continue to watch it. And no matter how many times I get called a Sheldon or a nerd or grow up, it's a kid's show, I'll always know what it really is, an experience for everybody. Has there been bad seasons? Yeah. But there's also been amazing seasons. There's been amazing moments that we remember through our childhood and even past. Recently, a good friend of mine recommended Beast Morphers. And as I sat and watched the final 2 episodes and watched this team of Rangers tell everybody that they didn't know if they were going to win or lose, and it was okay if they went home and evacuated the city because they didn't know if they were going to be able to defeat this villain. And to watch everybody say they were going to stay and help them, it warmed my heart. That was a week ago for me. That show still has impacts like that. If you don't get why Power Rangers is special, well, then it ain't for you. Truth is, not everything is meant for you. But for those who understand how deep and complex the show can actually be, it will always continue to reward us with our patience, with our eyes, with our viewing. So, it's a little food for thought. But anyway, if you liked the video, which you did, who wouldn't? I mean, come on. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And then like it, which is also a thumbs up, I guess. I don't know. I'm tired. It's late. Couldn't tell by the hair being a mess. It's late. I just got home. Like it, support it, follow me, subscribe, and always leave a comment. I appreciate you guys watching as always. Hey, and it's been a while since I said this, but hey, may the power protect you.